Hi, I'm Io Abbas and I'm the Business Development Manager for Formation Architects. Today I'm interviewing Clem for her Women in Construction talk, which is looking at buildings are collaborations. Hiya Clem, can you tell us a bit more about you and your role at Formation Architects?
Hi, Io. Yes, of course. I started working at Formation Architect in 2008 as an assistant. I am now an associate and working on high-end residential projects, managing teams between 2 to 10 people, depending on the project and on the stages. But I'm also involved in mentoring schemes because I find it very important to share my experience with younger people and help them to develop their skills and nurture them. It's very nice.
And in terms of your talk, which is Buildings Are Collaborations, can you explain a bit more about what that title actually means?
For me, collaboration is having a team working well together to achieve the best result at the end. And that means you need to have good communication skills, being able to respect every member of the team and listen to what they have to say and using their expertise and experience toward the common goal.
Okay, so in terms of creating a collaborative construction team, how do you go about doing that?
It's to make sure everyone has this sense of common purpose in the team. Inside the office, we have quite a strong office culture, and that connects all the colleagues together.
Okay.
But also, team by team, you need to have a good communication between everyone, sharing the information on the project, making sure everyone knows what their scope of work is, and the time frame, but also the overall project, what it's about, who the consultants are, and get this sense of responsibility and ownership of the project, not just focusing only on their task, but also, enjoying being part of a bigger process.
So what have you found as the toughest thing when it comes to building a successful construction team that's collaborative?
Obviously, teams are made up of different personalities, skills, and characters.
Yeah.
The issue is when you come across of someone who's selfish or create troubles in a team. This is very damaging for the balance of the team because obviously it's going to slow down everyone else and destabilize everyone. Usually to go past that, we have a good sit down, discuss the issues, and maybe it's something can be fixed. If the person just wants to work on their own, they've got no place in the team.
And I guess how would you go about dealing with that kind of non-performance in that case?
Usually when someone underperforms and doesn't get the output they should be at their role level, we tend to sit down and again review the issues with them, discuss solutions, and maybe it's more frequent reviews, and maybe we need to up the conversation on their scope of work and what we are expecting from them. That's what usually happens. Most of the time, it's completely fine, and people catch up, and it's very rewarding to actually see someone going the way, all the way back to where they should be. And it's good for them because they feel more at ease inside the team.
Okay, so in terms of COVID and lockdown, how has that impacted team building, collaboration and performance? What things have you had to do or overcome?
To manage to keep the team bonding strong together, we had to implement more video call and using Zoom and Team, and get the daily contacts and catch-ups with every member of the team, because I believe, again, that's what really makes a team is the daily discussion around work, and it can be also personal matter, and being able to freely call each other and discuss things is very important for the team, yes.
But I mean, what impact did that have on you in terms of, as a manager, in terms of your time? That sounds quite kind of time consuming.
Yes, it takes slightly more time, but we try to kind of mimic what would happen in the office. In the office, we've got an open plan layout, which means anyone can come to your desk and ask any questions. In some kind of way, we have the same system, but you're at home and you've got Teams and Zoom to discuss things.
Brilliant. And I know over lockdown, you've had quite a few team changes, including new starters. So what have you done to make them feel part of the team and really, really up to speed with what's going on?
At Formation, we have a welcome pack for any newcomers and new starters, which means that they get up to date on how we do things in the office and keep a consistency across the board. But team-wise, I tend to brief people over the phone or on a Zoom call, first to get them into what the project is about. I also send them an email with all the useful links like this. They can review that at their pace before they start any work. And then, very important, the visit to site, to be able to see the building physically, meet the team on site and review any bits and get attached to the building.
Brilliant. And I know over lockdown, you've had quite a few team changes, including new starters. So what have you done to make them feel part of the team and really, really up to speed with what's going on?
Formation, we have a welcome pack for any newcomers and new starters, which means that they get up to date on how we do things in the office and keep a consistency across the board. But team-wise, I tend to brief people over the phone or on a Zoom call, first to get them into what the project is about. I also send them an email with all the useful links like this. They can review that at their pace before they start any work. And then, very important, the visit to site, to be able to see the building physically, meet the team on site and review any bits and get attached to the building.
And have you found going to site during lockdown? I mean, what's that been like?
Site at the moment, obviously we are following the guidance of the government and the construction industry and have implemented all the extra PPE and masks and different routes to get inside the building and get out and to make sure we are not putting anyone in danger while working on site.
Okay, but it's been workable, that's for sure, right?
It's been workable, and I think it's very important to keep building site going anyway. Yes, it's fine.
So are there things that can be done to fast-track building a collaborative team?
You can't really fast-track these kind of things because building good relationship and meaningful relationship is not something you can do in few days. It's by working together, learning to trust each other and be honest with each other, then you actually have a meaningful link between people. And enjoying doing more work together, and it's not something you can really fast track, sorry.
Okay, so how would you go about fostering collaboration with a wider design team? What type of things would you do?
Obviously with wider team outside the office, you've got even a wider diversity of personality, experience and people, and all this range of opinions and experience are actually making the process of resolving issues on site, for example, way quicker and richer. These things you need to make sure is on site or during these meetings are an atmosphere of trust where everyone can bring their opinions and have their say during the process. You will find that problem resolution gets much quicker that way. Also, you want to talk to people one-to-one on the phone. Better to do that at the start than actually dropping an email. he finds it a bit more personal, and you can discuss things a bit more freely this way. And all this will help to get everyone focused onto the final product you want to achieve and deliver.
Brilliant. And in terms of tips for somebody who's starting out in how they manage a team, what kind of things would you give to somebody? What should they be doing to better themselves so they can do it?
My main advice would be yourself. Find a style who suits you and your personality, and obviously you will be way more relaxed if you're not playing a role. And also do your homework. You know, if you go to meetings or to have a discussion with someone, do a bit of research, prepare yourself, and you will feel a bit more confident on what you're talking about, and your arguments will have way more weight in the discussion.
And are there any kind of tips or tools that you tend to use when it comes to managing your time or managing your prep for meetings?
Yeah, just collect the information and documents, do your research on online even. There's so many information you can find everywhere. But do like a little collection of all the information, read it maybe beforehand, and yeah, you come to the meetings or discussions prepared and feeling a bit more sure of yourself.
Okay, so now on to the quick fire round, which is going to be where we have 3 scenarios of 3 different types of people, and you can talk about how you manage them, how you kind of build their own kind of confidence in themselves, and also what they bring to your team. So starting off, our first person is going to be a graduate who is fresh out of architectural school, really keen, really kind of infused, wants to learn, wants to get going. How would you manage that person, Claire?
This kind of person is my favorite. It's they bring this dynamism, enthusiasm to the team, and it's usually a breath of fresh air, you know. And you want to keep that state. You don't want to put them on something and then it just makes them feel demotivated. You need to keep this motivation up. Then you put them on different tasks who are actually exciting and where they learn, and try to give them all the advice you've learned over the years. And as they grow, you give them more and more responsibility and give them the sense of ownership of the project. That would normally keep them interested. And then also you want to bring them to site, and you know all these things they've been drawing and discussing and developing, they can see that implemented on site, and I think that's the best way to learn how things are getting together, and that's very important. The other things I found very, very important, especially for younger one, but it's all along your career, is to make sure everyone understands that making a mistake happens, and you're allowed to make mistakes. And there is no need of hiding. That's something can be discussed. As I always said, a mistake is a team effort. It's not one person. You just need to work it out together.
And be there to support each other. That's a lovely
Exactly.
ethos. Really, really nice. Okay, so on to our second scenario, our second type of person. So this one's a mid-career person, so probably similar age to you, similar experience to you, and they're also part of your team. So again, how would you go about managing them in terms of what you do and how you can make
when someone is at that level, you kind of expect them to be less needy on management sides. They know how they have to do things and how to do them. But we still tend to have like very open discussion. Again, trust and being able to bounce ideas at each other. Like when we need to discuss issues on a program, on a project, you just, you know, explore all the possibilities. Depending on the background you have, in the previous experience, you might have encountered this issue on another project while the other person didn't. And yeah, that I found that very enriching.
So that's about sharing your expertise.
Yes,
together.
sharing.
Yeah.
But the things you want also is to make it clear the scope of work of each person in the team, because if you're at a similar level, you can end up like stepping on each other's toes, which we really want to avoid to keep the right balance and atmosphere in the team.
That's fantastic, great. And on to our final scenario. So this is an older person who is a technical whiz, So they've obviously been there, seen it, done it, bought the historic T-shirt probably. So how would you go about managing them and what would they bring to a team?
This type of person is usually someone who can be a bit blasé about things, but they've got a lot of experience and that's really valuable for the team, especially when you've got younger people in the team. They can learn so much from a person like this. This type of person is also usually part-time in teams and trying to spread their experience as much as possible, which means you need to make sure you value them enough to make them feel part of the team and involve them with not just their bits, but also other interesting bits of the project. And yes, that's how you try to keep them interested and motivated. Also, they tend to have their own ways, and it's good to have your own ways, but it's also good to keep learning and adapting to situations that occur in the project. The younger people usually are quite techno-savvy, and that's something they can actually teach the older member of the team, and there's a real exchange between the two generations, and then obviously, all together, we can actually progress quicker and better on the project.
Oh, that's brilliant. So they're all kind of bringing their own skills.
Yes, exactly.
And building something else.
Proper interaction, and that's what makes a team also. It's to be able to learn from each other.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Clem.
Thank you.
Now it's over to questions.